Alright, YouTube. Um, Dual videos. I don't know when I'll get to those because I don't have my camera. Kind of looks like I gotta buy another one. But the best I can do is probably do my own demos here. So I'll be working on maybe a few videos today of scenarios, explanations, side deck, and like situational standpoints. And I can actually show you how to establish specific plays by demonstrating. I mean, hey, I might mess up too. I just do kind of like my best knowledge of scenarios. But yeah, so I'm going to be discussing right now some side deck cards. Here's a problem with that before I get into it. Every deck can actually use certain side cards better than other decks. For instance, we all know how Black Wings can main oppression, but yet there are other decks that side it or starting to main it. So my target right now is oppression. Oppression works good against Gladiator Beasts, X-Sabers, Infernities, and Herald. Is more effective against those decks. Every deck does special summon. Alright, just to let you guys know that. So if you kept your oppression mained, it will be live for certain cards, but when you're talking about like Herald, X-Saber, and Infernities, and Glads, oppression is more active. That's the target of side deck cards, like whatever can activate more effective versus having certain cards in the deck. So, Heroes Rule number 2. That card can be used offensively and defensively for certain decks. Heroes Rule negates cards that target engrave. Okay. The question is, what cards target graveyard? Is a counter trap supposed to be 3? So it can be activated anytime during your turn or your opponent's turn. I don't care if it's standby, main phase, draw phase, anytime they target. Alright. Scenario is I have Doom Caliber Knight. I declare an attack. My opponent activates DD Crow. In response to DD Crow's activation, I play Heroes Rule number 2. Doom Caliber Knight will not be destroyed, because DD Crow is never activated for Doom Caliber to tribute himself off the field. Doom Caliber is a multi-trigger as well as DD Crow, but the Heroes Rule number 2 is a counter trap. The card's Heroes Rule destroys that is effective in this format is Launcher, Infernity, Mirage, if I said that right, and I have the card too. Full Troll, Full Helm Knight. The ritual spell to summon Herald. When it activates Engrave. I'm going to see if Heroes Rule would negate it when activated because it has the additional effect of targeting. I'm pretty sure that Heroes Rule would not negate it when activated, but only when it returns one fairy used as tribute. It negates Pot of Avarice, DD Crow, Gotham's Emergency Call. Okay. Debris Dragon, Darius, Equest, Gladiator Beast, Grandmaster of the Sixth Samurai, Ramen Toad, I guess, whatever. Yeah, those are probably the important cards, I believe. Got target cards, Engrave. I hope I'm not missing something obvious because I'll just be declared a bad player myself. Maybe Beckoning Light? Nope, Beckoning Light doesn't target. Take that back. Let's see. DD Crow. Main it, side it, or don't play it at all. But you cannot use this concept with every deck. DD Crow is actually better in certain main decks than other decks. One card that's not being really favored by some decks are Sangin, apparently. Sangin has been a really good card ever since the release of Sangin, and I think it's Metal Raiders. And this is probably the first format I don't see it really popular in decks, so it's kind of iffy. It's a stabilizer. All right, it's never a plus, ever, unless your opponent destroys it. That's the only way it's plus one. Crevice of Dimension, I think that's what it's called. We just call it Crevice over here in Tampa, Florida. I have an opinion about that over versus Transmigration Prophecy. I think the only deck that can use Transmigration Prophecy is probably Quick Draw. More effective than any deck. Maybe Gladiator Beast. And yeah, pretty much those two decks. And here's the problem with Crevice. Crevice has a condition. They have to have 2 of an attribute. Alright. Crevice is really effective against X-Sabers because they're Earth. Okay. Crevice is effective against Blackwings, Infernities because they're dark. Okay. In Frog OTK and Frog Monarch. The problem that I have against this right now is that there was a time I did play against the Frog Monarch deck. Just one time. I had Crevice and I couldn't get rid of the Treeborn Frog. Because he didn't send 2 because he was a bad player and didn't send 2. So it was kind of rhetorical. So I had to use a combat ability against Light Darkness Dragon on a scenario. He goes declare an attack. I go Crevice, Chain, Dimensional Prison. So the Dimensional Prison destroy Light Darkness Dragon. Well, Chainlink 1, Light Darkness Dragon. Wow. I'm sorry. Chainlink 1 is my Crevice. Chainlink 2, Light Darkness Dragon affects his attack drops. Chainlink 3 is my Dimensional Prison. Okay. In reverse order, Dimensional Prison removes. His attack remains at 23. And Crevice resolves because Light Darkness Dragon is not on the field to remain to negate Crevice. Crevice removed 2 dark monsters, so he summoned, something random. But the thing is, my Crevice was kind of dead, and I wanted to get rid of the Treeborn Frog. Transmigration Prophecy, on the other hand, I can select cards out of my graveyard and my opponents within destruction or chaining. So Transmigration doesn't remove like Crevice does, but the same concept is it's really effective against every other deck except for Frog Monarch, just because Swap Frog can just send it back. Okay. Consecrated Light. That card has won me games, just a lot of games. Blackwings Infernities. I mean, just put the card on the field. That's all you got to do. There's not much to do about that. Or you can just attack a face down monster and, hope it's not a Raikou. Okay. Infernity side decks. Infernity main decks. Alright. Infernities is the deck that, like I said before, has the least skilled players. Because they don't play the deck right. Side deck is the important thing about it. People use Crow. They use magic and trap cards like Dust Tornadoes and stuff. Let me tell you something about Infernities. Alright. The good players who play Infernities, it is a very difficult deck to beat no matter what you side. Most of the time, you're only going to have 1 or 2 cards that can probably stop the deck within a turn. So they're going to have a barrier or some counter for what you have by game 2 and 3. Don't think Infernities are bad, people, because it will top. It will be there, and it will go X1, or undefeated, possibly. I'll tell you that right now. Their basic sides are Raikou, Heroes Rule number 2, Fisher, to go against Thunder Kings, Doom Cabernites, and Consecrateds. Compulsory Evacuation Device is a really good card this format. Please don't ignore that card. It's really good. I'm going to continue to make videos, so just stay tuned.